Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video because we have another collection from Fantasy Cosmetica. So they just had a collection about a month ago that was a collaboration with my friend Amanda over at Makeup Just for Fun. And now we have their Halloween launch, which is also their biggest palette yet. So most of their palettes in the past have been 9-pan. The last couple have been 12, and this is 16. This is the Harvest of Souls palette. There's also 2 candles that come with this, and I have one of them to talk about. And this is, I think, a very well done Halloween collection, and I am very excited to talk about this. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with definite soft spots and special interest in sparkly indie eyeshadow and high-end and luxury makeup, which I am also wearing today. And I tend to be pretty analytical in my videos. I just try really hard to make thorough, thoughtful videos and have new videos every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. Okay, so this, like I said at the beginning, is the Harvest of Souls palette. This is the outer sleeve, which does have like a little quote here on the back. And then when you slide it off, the palette looks the same, but it has the ingredients on the back. So the palette has this really beautiful artwork here of the sorcerer and like a pond. And the colors on the palette are very much the colors on the inside. So when you open it up, you get their biggest palette yet. And I think Jordan did a really good job of making a 16-pen palette that's not overwhelming to use. I think this will be pretty easy for people to come up with ideas. So everything is kind of laid out in quads. So you have a blue quad, a green quad, a purple quad, and then you have this olive trio, and then this kind of burgundy shade that I think will work with the blues or the purples. So I think this is really well laid out. I have already swatched this. I will insert those clips a little bit, and then we'll do some live swatches as well for the shimmers. But I think really beautiful color story, very excited for this. And I think the fact that if you want to, you can stick with pretty easy monochromatic looks and stick in these quads. I will not do that today because I think that's pretty straightforward. So I think I'm gonna do 2 looks using some of the other shadows and mix and match a little bit. This collection also has 2 candles as part of it. I did get one of them sent to me. I did pay for it. They didn't do the candles as PR, but they were like, if you want it, we can send you an invoice. And I was totally cool with that because this one sounded really nice. So there's 2. There's Lingering Souls, which is the one I got, which is spiced, tangy apple, orange, little smokiness, earthy nuance is what they describe that as. And then Dark Secrets is cherry blueberry with warmed baked goods scent. Not my favorite kind of a scent. I've never liked a perfume or a candle that smells like a baked good. I don't think they actually smell like baked goods. So since I was gonna be paying for it, I was like, no, that's okay. I don't think I'm gonna like that one. But I did get Lingering Souls. This is the palette. If you've noticed, it's been sitting here in my last few videos with the back turned, so you could just see it's a candle. It is this really pretty blue color. It's their standard wood wick, so it kind of flickers and makes that like crackling fire sound while it burns. And it is strong. This is definitely a fall candle. This smells, I lit it the other day for 2 hours, and almost instantly the whole apartment, I mean, my apartment's under 700 square feet. It's a pretty small apartment, but although I've lived in smaller, it almost instantly just filled the apartment with like spiced apple scent, but not like super sweet. Like there is like enough earthiness that you're not getting like earthy smell, but it's like mellowing it into a really like beautiful way. So very happy to have this. So some product details before we get into the swatches and stuff. The palette is gonna be $55 before a discount code. It is their biggest palette, so I'm not surprised at the price. And you do have almost all exclusively multi-chromes in it. So I think it's probably gonna be worth it if that is in your budget and worth it for you. A discount code like mine, I have an affiliate code that is BONES, that'll save you 10%. So that'll knock $5.50 off of it. The candles are $30 or $58 for both of them. So if you really like the sound of both, you can get both. And then you can also buy the full collection for $110, and that includes free shipping for US customers. And this will all be launching, this is sneak peeked Saturday, and then this is all launching on the 15th, Tuesday, October 15th at 9 a.m. PST, so Pacific Standard Time. So that would be noon Eastern time, and then beyond that, you just kind of have to figure that out. But let's get into talking about the swatches, doing some live swatches, and then the looks. So like I said, I already did swatches of this, and I'll insert some clips here. I did arm swatches for everything and did a bunch of different lighting, so I have a few clips to include. I would say the formula feels exactly the same as Fantasy Cosmetica's other palettes. The mattes are really nice. They have a good amount of pigment. They do build nicely. They're not too pigmented, but they're not like too buildable. I don't mind buildable, but they're, you know, I think a really nice mix of buildable and pigmented. The lighting keeps changing because, you know, in front of the window, so I apologize for that. I think the shimmers are all really pretty. This one was a little messy and like wanted to creep onto the other shadows, so I might try that today to see how it looks on the eyes. The shade up here, Ambition, the olive matte, this felt a little drier than some of the other ones, but I think that's just has to do with the pigment. And Poison, the kind of neon-y green, was also a little thinner. The rest of them I did one, like I did 3 swirls with my finger, 1 swipe. This one I had to do 2 swipes, but it is kind of a pastel-y neon-y shade, and that's just kind of typical for such a white-based shade, so I'm not surprised. I do want to do some live swatches of the shimmer so you can just see how pretty they are. Hi, Bean. Apparently Bean's decided this is time to play. So I'll show you this one first. This one's Schemes, and it is the flakiest and like thickest, so you can see there's some texture, and it is really pretty. It is this beautiful green to gold. And then in the purple area, you have Ensnare, which also feels a little thicker, but like a little more binder. Didn't feel as messy, and it's really beautiful, kind of reddy plum base with this bluey purple, more periwinkle kind of shift to it. Really pretty. Eternal is this top corner one. It's one of my favorites, and you can see it is kind of a like lighter tone gray base with pink and purple in it. Just really pretty. So I'll do these on my hand. So you can see there's definitely some texture that to be thinned out. And if I hold it this way, I see kind of blue, like a blue base to this. It's really pretty. Oh, there's some of that blue. Here's the purple. So you can see that like more magenta base, more reddy tone base. And then that really beautiful bluey purple shift. And then here is Eternal. And if I hold it this way, I see kind of gray, maybe a little green, and then see that shift. And then the other 3 shimmers, you've got the 2 blue ones and this green here. This green is a little smoother and firmer pressed. This is Obsession, and you can see there's less texture in the pan, but it is very creamy, really pretty. And we've got Souls, which I think might be my favorite, and Immortality. Really beautiful. So you can see how smooth this one is, and it is blue to green, but I even see there's a little bit of like green to yellow. It's like blue, green, yellow with kind of a almost purple base, but you can see how dark that blue base is on the edges right there. And then this really beautiful kind of iridescent blue purple, and then this really beautiful blue with lots of, it's got kind of a purple blue shift with gold sparkle. So you can see this one is just much smoother. And then I'll do the other 2 along this way. So you can see there is a little bit of texture there that I'm gonna, so you don't need to pick up very much because they're so creamy. But you can see that the iridescent blue shift there. And then if I hold it this way, you can see, hopefully see some of that purple. Yeah, you can see the purple there. Okay, so now it's time for the looks. I think I'm gonna do both of them today, so I'm gonna wash my face in between. But I did want to show real quick a couple comparisons. So this is the newest one, obviously. And then this is their last palette, the one they did with Amanda, which I believe is still available. So you can see the size difference and also just color story difference. You can see how muted Amanda's is in a way I really love. And then I feel like the one that's the closest to this is their Warlock palette that came out last year, and it's different. But if you want to see, this is like an expanded Warlock. So you can see you've got a bright green, olive-ish tones up here, but different. This is much more olive. And then you've got, instead of a neon green, you've got more of a pastel bright green. You've got some blues, but they're very different. These are even darker. So this feels like a companion / expanded version. So if you really love Warlock, I think you're really gonna like this too. So I'm gonna do 2 looks. I think I'm gonna do a purple matte look and maybe one with the blue mattes, but I'm gonna start with the purple. So I already put some of my NARS eyeshadow base down. I have to use a primer with every palette and every eyeshadow just because I have oily eyelids. And then for the rest of my makeup, I am wearing a little bit of my House Labs foundation around the center of my face, a little bit of Kosas concealer, a little bit of blush from Suku, and then a little bit of Hourglass blush and bronzer on top of that. And that's it. And then my lip is a lip liner from Lisa Eldridge, her Warm 2. And then one of my lipsticks from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is from the Lost Library collection. This is Hidden. I don't know if this is still available, but really nice cream lipstick. And then I had to wear my spell book I had to wear my spell earrings. So look 1, I think this will be pretty straightforward. I'm actually gonna start with the dark shade and pick that up with this. This is a Rephr 01 brush that I've used with similar tones recently, which is why it's kind of stained. Picked up really nicely. Tapped it off, but nothing really came off, and I'm gonna put that all over the lid. I want this to be a smokier look to start. Really pretty color. And it's like, it's got depth, but it's not like too dark. It's not like an almost black purple. And I like this brush because it has a flat side to pack, but it's also fluffy enough that then once you pat shadow where you want it, you can diffuse. So I'm just gonna diffuse this into the crease. And I would say that's working very well. I need to put a little bit more down out here. Take a little bit of Patience, the like more lavender tone shade on the same brush, and I'm going to dust that into the crease and blend the edges. Okay, that is exactly what I wanted for the like matte purple look, and you could actually just stay here and just leave it like that. Put a little bit of both of them right here on the inner part of the lid. I tapped into both just to brighten up right there. And you could definitely leave it there. I like a look like this all the time for work. And then I'm gonna go into, you could do this shade. I think this will go really well with either purple or the more wine tone shade. You could go into this, you could do both. I'm gonna go into this blue purple iridescent shade down here, Souls. I'm gonna pick that up with my finger. You can see the really blue sheen there, but if I'm holding it this way, I'm seeing more purple. And I'm gonna tap that on my lid on top of the mattes. That is exactly what I wanted. That's so pretty. And then I think if I wanted a little bit on the outer corner, I can pick up just a little bit of Ensnare, the like more purple one. No, I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm gonna repeat this on the other eye and add my mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and this is the finished first look. I really like it. This is, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to top this. This might be my favorite look that I'll do with this palette. Everything's so pretty, but I've already tried this shimmer before, and I knew I wanted to wear it over these purples, and I really love the way this came out, and you can see how shiny and reflective it is. I just went ahead, copied it on the other eye, and then I used my Lisa Eldridge mascara, and that's it. Really like this look. Okay, so I am gonna go clean this up, and then we can do another look. I feel really sad that I need to wash this off, but I can always recreate it later. Okay, so I am back, and it's time for the second look. like I said, you could easily do any kind of monochromatic look, but I really want to try these blues. And then I think I want to use this shade as a contrasting shimmer versus like using, you could use this green with the olivey shade with the olives. You could do especially this really beautiful blue with all of the purple blue shift with all the gold sparkle, especially in like low light. I think this is going to be a really beautiful shade. So you could do an easy monochromatic look, but I think because this is a little more teal, I want to put the contrasting like green gold on there. So for this look, I'm going to start with the more teal light blue and then build some depth. I just went ahead and washed everything off, replaced my concealer, and then put a little bit more of my NARS base down. So I'm picking this up on a Sigma brush. This is an E25, had this forever. And I'm gonna lightly dust this, like tap and blend into the crease. This brush is very flat and a little fluffy, but you can see how flat it is. So I don't really like it for like buffing and blending. It's not fluffy enough for that, but it is good for putting down a little bit of color and blending, kind of like the rougher one. I like the rougher brush better, but I also prefer natural hair to synthetics in general. I really like the tone of this. It is a light blue. It pulls a little more teal on my skin tone than I think it will on other people, but that is one of the things that happens when you have an olive undertone. The green and things tends to get absorbed and look so differently. So just got a nice light layer of that. It's not the most opaque right here, but I don't need it to be because I'm going to be putting in the dark shade as well. Okay, so I just did a light wash of that color on both lids, and now I'm going to go into the bottom dark blue shade here, same brush, and I'm going to tap. You can see just how pigmented that is. I'm actually going to put this all over the lid. You could just do the outer corner and blend it in, but I'm putting where I want most of the depth out here, and then I'm just gonna blend it into the other blue. You can see it is pretty dark out here, but it does blend out really nicely. So I'm just getting that all over. I will probably use another fluffy brush to make sure that they're blended together nicely, but for now, just using the one brush for everything. I really like that. Nice dark smoky blue. And you could obviously fine tune this and just leave it here. But I'm gonna put that on the other side as well. So really like the way these are performing. I do need to fine tune the edges. I'll probably take a fluffy brush with some of my concealer and pat around the edges to kind of clean those up and sharpen right here, but I'll do that after. And then, yeah, like I said, you could easily do the blue I used in the other look. You could use both. If you want to keep a blue smoky eye, you could put this all over. But I really want to see how this Schemes shade looks next to these. Plus, it is the flakiest of all of them, so I want to actually use it on camera. So you can see a little bit of texture on my finger. So I'm going to be very careful and tap so that I make sure I don't get fallout. This is not a shade I would want to use a brush with. I want to tap and let the warmth of my finger kind of help it melt onto the lid. It's a really pretty shade. It is a little creamier and more emollient than the others, so I feel like it is very like molten metallic. So I feel like if you have eye texture, this one's a little thicker, so you might not like this one as much if you have more textured lids. And then with what's left, I'm just kind of tapping around so you're not getting opacity up here. So you can shear it out because I'm shearing it out up here. Yeah, so you can get a sheer wash of the olivey green sparkle. So you can shear it out and get a little bit more of a wash, although I think doing that over a matte, over something else is a little harder. You'd have to pick up very little, but if I just went like swipe, and that's how much I picked up. So you do pick up a lot very easily. I just worry that with a brush, it would be, you get a lot of fallout. So if you do your eyes first, then you don't have to worry. But with shades that have this much like creaminess and flakiness, fallout is always something I worry about. Okay, I'm gonna go tidy up the edges and put my mascara on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and this is the finished second look. I just added my same Lisa Eldridge mascara, and I used some concealer to kind of sharpen up the edges right here. I really like this look. It's kind of peacock colors, you know, teal, blue, and green, gold. I really like it. I like the other look more, I think, but that's more something I do all the time, and I prefer more of an iridescent kind of shade like that. I either want like a dark smoky metallic or an iridescent metallic. I haven't been gravitating towards things in the middle, but I think it's a really beautiful shade, and I think it works well. I think it'll work really beautifully for a monochromatic look with the olives or the other greens in here, the ones down here, or like it worked really well with the blues too. So, and that's what I wanted to show, is that you don't have to stick in the monochromatic quads. You just kind of have to think of color families and warmth versus coolness. Like you could probably mix this with the purples or these, but I wouldn't necessarily mix this wine colored shade with the greens, you know? But I really like this. So so final thoughts on the palette so far. Obviously this is kind of a first impression, kind of not. I did play with some shades throughout the week. I did wear Eternal, Obsession, and Souls before during the week. This is my first impression of this shade up here, and I haven't worn the dark blue or the shimmer on the lids yet. So, but I do know the Fantasy Cosmetica formula pretty well, so this is kind of first impression plus, I guess. But it's really pretty. I think this is a really well done color story. I think a 12 pan is like my ideal. 9 can be too small. 16 can be a little bit too big. I prefer a 12 pan, but I think for a 16 pan, it's not overwhelming. I think they did a really great job curating this. And I think I really appreciate that they are in these little quads. So like you don't have to do a blue look or a green olive look or a green look or a purple look, but you can if you're like in a hurry or you don't know what else to do or you don't know how to mix things. But things here should mix pretty well together, like I said. So, and like I showed with this. So I think this is a very well curated palette, and I think Jordan and Fantasy Cosmetica did a really great job. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like I said, this does launch Tuesday, October 15th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and my affiliate code BONES will save 10%. Other people have affiliate codes. Use someone's if you're gonna order something. Always, never pay a full price, but let me know what you think in the comments below, what you think of the two looks, which one you prefer. Are you gonna pick this up? What do you think of the color story? I'd love to hear your thoughts and talk to you all in the comments, like always. And as always, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. And remember to like and subscribe. It helps a whole lot, more than you can probably think. And I will see you all in my next video.